Hey, 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 and welcome back to Real Estate Confessions, where real estate cultura and generational wealth collide. We are three real estate girlies spilling the tea, closing deals, and confessing everything. Yes, you heard that right. Everything. From wild client stories to generational building wins, nothing is off limits here. So let's confess. I'm Esme.
My name is Nayeli.
And I'm Rosalind.
Today we're honored to have a guest who exemplifies legal expertise and local commitment in Aurora, Illinois. Michael Huseman has served the community as a litigation attorney since 2003.
More recently, Mike has turned his attention towards real estate investing, bringing the same strategic thinking and integrity to building property wealth. Without further ado, let's welcome Mike.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Can you say your full name since Rosalind didn't?
I go by Mike, Michael Huseman, but I do go by Mike, so anybody can call me Mike.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Mike. To get started, walk us through your journey. How is it that you went to law school in DeKalb to now being a real estate investor?
Okay, well, there's a lot in between there because it's been a long time since I became a lawyer, but I grew up in Indiana, Northwest Indiana, and I wanted to go to law school, so I realized that the jobs were in Illinois. You know, you had to be licensed in the state, like you guys know.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really want to go to school in Indiana because I saw all the jobs were in Illinois. That's how I kind of wound in the Chicago suburbs, and I wound up at NIU.
I'm a former Husky, too.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So, yeah, Huskies. And then got my first job in Aurora, and I've been there ever since. I've been at the same job for 22 years.
The
Go
only
ahead.
firm you've ever been with?
Yes, yep.
What called you to them? Or what?
Well, they had a great reputation. We are the oldest law firm in Aurora, and at one point we were the largest. The whole time, for like 50 years, we were the largest law firm in Aurora. Only recently we've had a couple people retire. So I don't think we're actually the largest law firm in Aurora anymore, but we are still the oldest law firm in Aurora.
Was there something that called you to Aurora specifically? Or?
I just loved it. I mean, when I was at NIU, I would come into town and hang out, go to the casino, go to the bars. And so I just got to, I'm not a city guy. I'm not a Chicago guy. So I avoided Chicago. When I looked for schools to apply to, I wound up out in a small town, and then I kind of wound up in a suburb to work at.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Aurora's like the second biggest city. It's like a suburb to me.
Yeah.
It's like not really downtown or
Yep.
Yeah. So, did you ever doubt your path during law or in real estate investing?
No, never doubted anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, even, as we get into talk about some deals, your esteemed co-host, Nayeli, has been my agent on every one of my deals. And there's been times where we've been like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. We're going to close like in a week.
He's
Don't
the
worry.
best client, VIP
Yeah.
client.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I don't really doubt much.
Okay. How do your roots in litigation influence how you handle difficult clients or sensitive situations?
It is good to gain experience in whatever field you're in. You know, no matter what job you have, you just need to put in the time. And I saw some other podcast or read some article one time that said, I think it was 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours to become an expert or something in whatever field you're in. Once you've put in that much time, you're an expert. And I feel in my job, it's high stress. I have all these different stressful, very high profile cases going on at one time. So I'm getting like 3 hours for every hour. I just feel like, the pressure I was under for so long, it's like I've seen it all before. Nothing at this point would faze me. And there's no, I understand what the consequences would be 2-3 steps down the road. It's like, when people start getting angry and upset and, we're going to hire a lawyer and we're going to sue you. And I'll be like, okay, I'll see you there. I'll be there anyway. That's not really as drastic of a threat, to me as it would be to anybody else.
So how do you think that's helped you in real estate, though? Because,
Yeah.
well, I know it's easy when it comes to cases for eviction, right?
Yeah.
So that's a given. But how do you think that's helped you? Well, obviously you do litigation, right?
Yeah. So, one of the reasons that I have been able to scale up so quickly and become, successful in just a couple of years when I got into real estate was that I had been in that industry for like 15, 16 years prior to that, and doing it on behalf of my clients, including your co-host Nayeli when I was her lawyer at real estate closings 10 years ago. And now I'm looking back, I'm thinking, why wasn't I sitting there thinking this should be me? Why wasn't I buying? She was buying all these properties like 10 years ago. And I thought, gee, I should have been doing that. So when I did start to do it, I had been doing evictions for 10 years. I had been doing closings for 10 years. I had been, working with financing and lenders and all this type of stuff. So it's like, okay, why am I doing it for them? I'll just do it for me. I already know this inside and out.
And when did it really click that it was like, oh, snap, I should be investing? Like, what am I doing?
It clicked quickly. I mean, one of the reasons, it clicked immediately. Like, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then once I got into it, it's like, wow, this is, this was the right decision. So I just need to focus on this more and try harder and scale larger.
What do you think it's more challenging now, breaking into real estate rather than when you started, investing wise?
Yeah, you mean to break in now for a new investor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. It certainly has gotten more difficult. The prices have skyrocketed. Mortgage rates are higher. I look back at the first couple houses I bought, and my payments seem minuscule. Compared to what it would be now, it's ridiculous. But that doesn't mean I'm not still buying. But I'm at the point where I'm on the back end. The first one would be a lot harder, and for anybody who is starting out, I realize it's very hard these days for all those reasons.
What's one lesson that you think you've learned in real estate that has shaped the way that you invest now?
Personally, the way I invest now is that I have tried to scale up to multifamily. When I look back, the first house I bought was a single family home. And again, I got a decent deal at the time. It was like $212,000, but the interest rate's very low. And so consequently, my payment these days is very low. And then I think the second house I bought was a single family home. So Nayeli called me. This is on Woodlawn. She called me and said, she's like, do you want to buy a house? And I said, I don't know, maybe. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, I have this house. I've been working with these buyers for like 3 or 4 months. There was this house right by my office, west side of Aurora, that was listed, I believe, at like 190 or in the high 190s. Yeah. And Nayeli and her clients at the time had beat this seller up, who was an out-of-state investor or some type of investor. Yeah. And they got him down from like 190 something to 157. 157.5, and then her buyers didn't get the financing, so it all fell through. And she calls me, she's like, I just beat the absolute heck out of the seller for like 3 months, and we got him down like 40,000, and my deal fell through. Do you want to buy it? And I'm like, I'll close in 2 weeks, I'll take it.
He was just like, sure. And I was like, okay. I was like, you don't want to like take a look? He's like, well, I'll take a look, but yeah, sure, I'll buy it. He's like, I'm not gonna make any money, and now that house is worth probably, if we fixed it up, probably about $300,000, maybe a little bit more, depending if you. And
my payment is down at around the $1,100, $1,200 range, and it's rented for $2,600, I think.
Yeah, so it's really good. Yeah. So now looking back on that, even though it didn't seem like it was a good deal at the time, we didn't plan on appreciation, but with Aurora, we hit the jackpot.
Yeah, so those are my first two. Those were single-family homes, and those are the only 2 single-family homes that I bought, because next I saw this building out in Rochelle, west of DeKalb. It's like the next exit past NIU, and it was a 7-unit apartment building, and I bought it sight unseen. So we eventually got into it, but I had driven out there by myself and just looked at it. I tend to do that. I'll drive out there, check out the neighborhood, just walk around it, look at it. And I called her and said, I want to make an offer. And she's like, what? We haven't even gone to the showing yet. I'm like, I don't care. I don't need to see it. I don't need to get inside. I want to buy it. And I don't remember if we negotiated the price. That's also one of my strategies, is just to offer asking price and just get it done. And that building I bought for $220,000, and it was a 7-unit building that only had 3 apartments occupied at the time, and the other ones were in really bad shape. Paint, like not really spray paint or graffiti, but just paint slopped everywhere, dirty. And this lender I had at the time, we started talking about a construction loan. So he said, well, get some bids about what you want to do to this place to fix it up. And I got an estimate, and it was about $40,000 worth of work that I wanted to do. And so this is prior to closing. So I bought that building for $220,000. The construction portion was $40,000. So at the closing, I had to come in with $260,000. That was the loan amount, $260,000. Of that, you have to bring in 20% down. Mm-hmm. So I had just bought those 2 single-family homes that I had spent all my money pretty much on the first one, and then she called me and said, you want to buy another one? I'm like, okay, I guess. So then I was really out of money. So on this third one, I took a home equity loan against my own house. I was able to take $50,000 against my own house. So on this $220,000 purchase with the $40,000 project on it, $260,000, 20% down is $52,000. So that's how I was able to do that. I took a home equity loan, bought it, and then that turned out to be a BRRRR, which I don't even think I knew what that meant at the time. But later on, when I got into all the podcasts and reading it, you BRRRR it, because I did the work. I did the $40,000, fixed up every unit, got them all rented, and then about a year later, I refinanced it. So a year later, it appraised at $390,000, and to make a long story short, I took out about $70,000 on the refi, and I'd only put in $52,000 to begin with, and since that time, it's also cash flowed very, very well. I've taken out more than I put in by many times over already, and I still own this building.
What made you want to buy it without even seeing it? Just the location, the price?
Yeah, the price, and not the location necessarily, but it was 7 units. So I think this whole meandering answer that I'm giving started when you said has my strategy changed. So my strategy very quickly went from 2 single-family homes to deciding I was never going to buy another single-family home. I want as many units as I can possibly get, in one building. And so when I saw that, I'm like, wow, this is 7 apartments, and it's only like $220,000. And I did the math, and it's like, geez, these only need to be rented for like $400 a month to break even, but rents these days are like $850. So I'm like, well, this is a no-brainer. We have to get this under contract today. Yeah.
And that's a difference between working with Mike, who's not scared of risk, or you assess risk, but you know when to take the opportunity. Where I work with some wannabe investors who I have some that they're like, oh, I want to invest, but they don't know when to pull the trigger. We see properties, I'm like, hey, you know what's a good one? No. They're too scared to lose. And if there's something that I've learned from Mike, and that's actually changed my investing strategy, is to, hey, you see an opportunity, just do it, because you can always figure it out later. And we have. So now that's the way that we invest, and it's worked out for us. And I think that's the way that I initially started investing. And at one point, like, my family was like, oh, well, you're doing too much. Maybe you should tone it down. And they kind of scared me off. But initially, I was just buying. I didn't care. I liked it, bought it. Didn't matter.
You have to silence the noise, most definitely. And I feel like another note that I want to add is to future investors, if you want to get started, buy that multi-unit first. Yes, you can still, if you want to have a single family, yes, you can buy that, but buy your multi-unit first, because you can get it as low as 3% down. Whereas if you buy the single family first, yes, you'll put 3% down, but now that you want to get that building, you're going to have to put 20 to 25% down.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, duplex or even a 3-unit, if you can find them, up to 4. Is that right? You can buy 4 with
FHA.
Yeah.
So how many doors do you have now, Mike? They asked me. I forgot.
So currently 42.
42. I said 32.
and with 2 deals pending.
Yeah.
By the hopefully by the end of September, I'll have 2 more buildings under our belt. One I'm buying with Naeli. Hopefully, I didn't just jinx us, but
we're gonna cut that out. We're cutting that out.
It amazes me that you like self-manage these and like how do you not.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
go
the whole
crazy?
other topic that I could talk for an hour on, is how to streamline that. Pretty quickly after getting a house, then a second house, I said, hey, this has to go online. And now there's, the apps that I use that everybody pays online. All the bookkeeping
Drop some names.
is
Drop
done.
some
I use Tenant, which has another website that is affiliated with it, which does the bookkeeping. It's called REI Hub. So every tenant gets a portal. They sign up, and they see it from their end. I see it from my end. We sign all the leases electronically, so it has the DocuSign built in. And then I invoice them. The website invoices them every month for whatever I set up, and I have it set up to automatically bill them for their rent. If it's 5 days late, they get hit with a late fee. Whatever utilities and whatever extra costs are in there, get sent through this website. And then they pay through, they get an email, and they can just pay their rent with one click every month. And it bombards them with emails. The later they get, they're getting more, strict warnings. And then all the payments that come through that website are logged into my financial statements. So it's linked to my bank account. It linked to all my bank accounts. Every building has its own bank account. And so any money in or out of those banks automatically appears on this website. So I don't need to, go home and say, okay, I need to enter all these receipts in or write all these payments down. It's just all happening all day, and I get home and look at it. I'm like, wow, I had a good day today. Yeah.
And what are the fees for something like this? Like, is it a percentage? Is it a
No, it's a very reasonable fee. There's a free version. I pay for the version, but it's only like, I pay less than, I think I pay $80 a month now. So it's like $5 for each additional property you want to run through it. So even at this point, I'm only paying like $80 a month for all this. And it takes hours a day off of my plate.
It's awesome. I think what Rosalind was asking me earlier is how do you manage as far as like, repairs?
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
Because that's the tricky part. The collecting rent's probably the easiest part about being a landlord.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's a great point too, is that I have just a huge network of people. Most of them I got from Naeli. Everyone in Aurora I got from Naeli to begin with, because she had a couple houses and whatever, multiple buildings, before I did. And so I'm like, do you know an HVAC guy? Do you know a plumber? And so now I have my own huge network. And so when I do get a call, because all that stuff comes through my website as well. They have maintenance requests and all types of stuff through this app, and I just get a notification that says, oh, there's no hot water. Boom, I just forward it to somebody. I never go out and look. There's buildings that I haven't been to like in a year. I mean, sometimes I do cruise by to make sure, it hasn't burned down or something, but I'm assuming I'd hear about it if it did.
Yeah. But it's about just trusting the process and that people are going to do what they're going to do. Because if they don't, Mike's a litigation attorney.
Yeah.
But there's a tenant that we had that I was like, hey, this is a lawyer. He still didn't pay his rent.
Who was that? The last one?
Yeah.
The most recent one? I was in court today with him on Zoom.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I mean, people fall in hard times. I understand that. I'm not hard on people. I have waived so much rent. I don't even want to think about a number. But if you're out of work, you're out of work. But what I don't like is when people lie to me and say this and that and make excuses, and I find out they're lying or they're on vacation, and I'm like, wait a minute, you owe me more than, you're spending my money on vacation? Now we have a problem. Now I'll see you in court. But I don't really do that much.
With that being said, like, you're on the confession couch now. So what is your wildest story, either with tenants or just like during your buying process?
Okay. The wildest story would be this woman who had mental health issues, I do believe. It was this building out in Rochelle, and I rent this apartment to her. And right away, there's problems with all the neighbors. She had gotten into nearly a physical fight with like 2 or 3 other tenants and was cursing at them and screaming at them. And then I thought, man, this is an issue, but I didn't, I texted her and said, hey, what's the deal? Take it easy. And then I come to find out later she's out in the parking lot, like talking to herself and talking to herself. I said, okay, she's mentally ill or she has some type of issue. So I served her with an eviction notice. And I served her with a 5-day notice because she was also behind on her rent. And on the 6th day, I texted her and said, have you moved out yet, or do I need to file an eviction? And she was very angry with me and texted back, said, I moved out. What did you expect me to do? You served me with a notice. And I said, okay, thanks. So I got driving over there to just check out the apartment to see what I needed to do to clean it up to get it relisted. And I walk in, and she had moved most of her stuff out. It was relatively empty. I don't think she ever really moved anything in, so I think actually maybe she didn't move anything out. There was just nothing to begin with. But there was an altar on the ground with a bunch of candles and a bunch of like sage and a lot of stuff hung up. And I could tell right when I walked in, there was like this altar where she had been kneeling and kind of praying.
Satanic stuff?
I don't know if it was satanic. I think it was.
Some voodoo on you?
Yeah. So then, to make a long story short, I start taking the stuff out to the dumpster, and the way this apartment is set up, the only bathroom is through the bedroom, and then like the last room is the bathroom. So I just start hauling stuff out. I took down all this stuff, took it out to the dumpster, and then I moved into the bedroom, took a couple loads of garbage out. The last room I walked into was the bathroom, and I look, and there was something in the toilet. There was a piece of paper in the toilet. And it had been burned. It was like half charred on one side, and it was burned, and I'm like, oh man, I couldn't flush it down the toilet, so I had to put my hand in there and pick it out, and I pulled it out, and it was my own picture. It was my own picture. It was my Facebook profile photo, and she had it printed like on a Polaroid.
God.
It was like an 8x10. It was. She would burned it, and it wouldn't burn because you know how like the Polaroids are like plastic?
Yeah.
She had it printed. It wasn't on paper. It was on this plastic, and she was trying to burn it, and it wouldn't start. So she can't get me. I don't think it takes effect if you can't burn the photo, right?
You didn't go get a cleanse right after?
I don't think I need to. She didn't. It didn't get to my face or anything. So, but anyway, it was in the. Then she tried to flush it down the toilet, but it didn't flush. But yeah, so.
Out of that story, the last thing I was expecting was brujería and your picture on a toilet.
But everyone told me I had to do that.
I told you. I'm the one that I was telling. My mom was telling me, like, tell Mike he needs to get a cleaning.
The egg cleanse too?
Oh yeah.
You never know nowadays. By those haters, you gotta be safe. You gotta be safe.
And that woman was a healthcare worker. She worked in some type of hospital or something.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're surrounded by like crazy people most of the day, it's like only a matter of time.
Yeah, maybe
when
she's
you
at
get
a
a little
mental institution. I don't know.
You know.
Okay, we're gonna ask you our 3 questions. Give us a food spot, like a hole in the wall, mom and pop.
Wow.
Yeah. Something you recommend.
Man, that's a good one. I have so many.
Pick your favorite.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Like, where are we going after this, Mike?
Well, after this, I'm in your guys' territory, so I'm going to defer to you guys. Anything I would say would be Aurora, and I'm going to plug the El Tiro network, including Amore Mio and the Red Room Piano Lounge. Not to jinx anybody, but...
Okay, let's do... Who do you look up to in your personal life?
I look up to all 3 of you guys. I'm serious.
We actually have to make a note.
Like, have to pick somebody else.
Someone in business.
Someone in business. Yeah. There are a couple people. I'm not going to give their names, but there's a lawyer who I know in Aurora who has, a portfolio of like $200 million worth of real estate. Mm-hmm. And now he has a... management company, because that's something I've also been thinking about is because I can manage my own 50 so far, why don't I just hire someone and put them in an office and manage 50 more? Mm-hmm. That's kind of the next step, is to start a property management firm. There's also a client of mine who has it's an industrial real estate company throughout the entire Chicagoland area. Mm-hmm. They have over 1,000 industrial units, and it's this one guy who owns this company. They have well over 100 buildings, and their buildings are enormous warehouse industrial buildings. And that portfolio, I've often tried to like do the math in my head. It's like $700-800 million worth of real estate.
Industrial is the most lucrative.
Yeah.
Than commercial.
I mean, not that that's something that I would want to get involved with, but when every time I look at it, I'm like, holy cow, that would be cool. Just to
Commercial seems so much easier than residential to me.
Yeah,
like you're
it
hands
is.
off.
Yeah. I've read a lot about that, and they say, because they're all triple net leases, so the tenant pays all the repairs, taxes, insurance.
Common area maintenance.
They would never call you with a repair.
Correct.
So it's very interesting strategy.
Okay, last one. Give us a nugget.
A nugget?
Us like a nugget that you leave us with.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have a million of them. So there's buying and selling, and then there's management. So on the management side, my nuggets are to raise the rent every year in a predatory manner, but you have to, your costs go up every year. So everybody's rent is going to go up. I put that right in my leases. So they when they sign, they know next year it's $50 more. And then I never let anybody get 30 days ahead of me. At least that's what I say on podcasts. So, because sometimes it does happen, but I am quick. My website is set up to bombard them with emails and says, hey, you're late, and these late fees start accruing. And then on the 15th day of the month, if I still haven't been paid, I do serve them with a notice, because in my leases, I also state that they consent to receiving notices by email only. For my first 20 years as an eviction lawyer, and still to this day, 99% of the time, you actually have to go over there, hand them something, or post it on the door, and post this eviction notice. I say in my lease that you agree that you're going to get it via email. So I just change the names on these things and email it to them. And then if that doesn't scare them, I literally, I'll file a lawsuit like on the 20th day. There are exceptions to that. Like I said, if people tell me they're having a hard time and they really are, sick or whatever, miss a little bit of work, I do work with people a lot. But my nugget is never let anybody get ahead of you, because once they get 30 days behind, they're never going to catch up. If they can't pay 1 month, they're not going to be able to pay 2 months.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Honestly, that's a good nugget to wrap this up.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Mike, for coming to Real Estate Confessions. And to you guys out there listening, share this with your investor friend or a friend that wants to get started in investing. Mike, where can they reach you if they need any legal advice or...
I can be reached via email, husemanlaw@gmail.com.
Or your Instagram.
Yeah.
Or my Instagram, but that's on private.
A Facebook thing.
With that being said, don't forget to like, share, and comment. And we'll see you guys on the next confession. Bye.
Bye.